My two main things I always think about is wrist angles. Like what is...
You mean at address or at the top of the swing?
Yeah, and even at the
what?
top of the thing, the movement of that wrist.
Yeah.
To me, there's so much out there.
Right.
In the old days, you just kind of rolled it over.
Yes.
Try to time it. You know what I mean?
You remind me of the golf pro I worked for before I emigrated. We called him Flicker behind
Oh,
his
yeah.
back.
Just...
Hit a
and you
couple.
kind of time it.
What club is that?
A 7-iron.
Yeah, whack a few. See if you can hit the ball a bit thin so you don't disturb the tee. And not because that's the best way to hit that ball, but it's what I want to see. Well, what a good start. So you notice you caught it thin,
Yeah.
it went straight a little low as a consequence,
Uh-huh.
and it was trying to draw, and it was just pushed about 3 yards.
Yes.
Yeah, try it again.
So I always felt, should I get more angle in the wrist, you know?
So
Should I-
how would it look if you did that? Show me that one.
You know, we always come back, I always felt like, I don't know. You
Well,
mean
I
more
know.
wrist? The problem is, what gives you more wrist? You know, what position? We used
Well-
to talk about scrolling and you know,
The counter scroll gives you more wrist,
yes.
okay? So counter scroll is when you're
And then ends up dropping the club better for me when I do that.
Well, yes, except that that'll block the ball. And so we have to look at this because if you counter scroll, the club is more open.
You're talking counter?
Counter scroll is when your knuckles come back toward the wristwatch.
Ooh, that's the risky one.
Yes.
But nobody really plays in those positions.
So go ahead and try it. It'll get you a little...
I know I come down and then I release it.
Okay, so here's the thing. Counter scroll it, but then still hit a pull draw.
A pull?
Yes. In other words, starting left, bending left.
Oh, shit.
Well, how about that?
So, I mean, I like that because I've done it before and, you know, I've felt everything in my life with the golf. But you tend to always move away from something.
But notice what you just did. You notice it went higher. It sounded better. It was a groove higher on the face. It had the draw. It did pull a fraction.
I mean, the idea of this, I've done that before. I just want to, again, make sure I'm not doing that.
I'll watch.
Okay.
But on the next one, play the ball about an inch farther back in the stance. So move slightly, yes, step to your left. Put the hand slightly ahead so that the club looks slightly open.
Okay.
Don't make it square. And that will bring your left shoulder about a half an inch nearer the ball. Yes.
Do you want me to move
in? Yes, and if that happens, let it.
And then what do you want me to do with my wrist?
Then I still want you to, what we describe as counter scroll and hit a pull draw and see what you get. Now look at what you get.
Yeah.
And you notice that straightened it up. Now that posture change is not one that people automatically use because it looks like it's counterproductive if we're trying to go left.
I mean, we've always tried to pull myself in there.
Well, so what you've done is you've used your legs to move your tailbone a half an inch toward your left heel, your left shoulder a half an inch nearer to the ball, and the hands a half an inch ahead and the club slightly open. And those are not things that people naturally do because we sort of default to symmetry.
No, I agree.
And the other thing being that we just are fairly certain that's going to hit the ball to the right.
True.
And yet it doesn't, and you just proved it.
Do you still want me to hit? I mean,
Yes,
what's my thought process?
Yeah, just hit a pull draw from a slightly counter-scrolled top of the swing. Good, so the tailbone slightly left, left shoulder forward, hands slightly ahead, club slightly open. Good, and just hit the pull draw. Now notice that's the block cut.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you have to think pull draw, otherwise
And I didn't.
you don't get the benefit of what I've asked you to do with the setup.
I didn't.
Try it off the ground now.
Oh, we're ready to roll.
That's absolutely superb. You're swinging a lot better than you fear.
No, I just
So
haven't been...
tailbone a half an inch left, left shoulder a half an inch nearer, hands slightly ahead, club face slightly open, and stand with the ball just slightly farther back than you had been choosing. Good. Those are all connected issues. And then counter scroll and hit a pull draw. And there's the shape that you're after. Nice let go of the club. Who does that? Hideki?
Because I didn't like it. I didn't like what was coming.
I know, but look at how it flew. Dead straight with a 1 yard
I know, I
draw.
just missed it.
Now that's where you then fix it by simply saying, or I will fix it by simply saying this. Now just work on quality of contact. What about that was miss? Well, the answer is you didn't quite. Yeah. And notice you blocked it again because you weren't quite thinking pull draw. And you have to have that motivation in this to make the setup that I've made work out.
All right.
Nice.